guys, welcome to the Weekend Review. This is going to be a new segment on my channel that I'm going to be popping out every week, probably Sundays and Mondays. In this segment, I'm going to be breaking down the weekend in box office. I'm going to be talking about the top 5 films in the box office from the previous weekend. I'm going to be giving you my takeaway on it, and then I'm going to be previewing some movies that are coming out the next week. I wanted to add a new segment to the channel. I wanted to make sure that I'm continuing to tweak and add things and add features and stuff to make the channel more accessible, and I figure talking about the box office is an accessible thing. I will remind people out there that box office is an objective measure of how successful a film is in the theater. It is not a measurement of how subjectively good a movie is. Whatever you take away from these box office results, keep in mind it has nothing to do with your actual opinion on a movie. Your own opinion is the one that matters above all. But yeah, sometimes it's fun to talk about the box office and projections and the predictions and to see which way the theater market is leaning on a given week. I am still coming off of a high because Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho, won 4 of the 6 Oscars that it was nominated for last night, and I celebrated this bitch like it was the Super Bowl. I was a mess last night. I'm a little bit more composed today. But if I randomly throughout this video start praising Parasite, I mean, just accept the fact that it probably has something to do with the box office. And I say all that to remind you that Parasite, again, is a 4-time Oscar winner directed by Bong Joon-ho, who won Best Director, and the movie itself won Best Picture. Just letting you know. Stay mad. All right, so coming up first in the box office report, the #1 spot this weekend went to Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. That is a mouthful. And it came away with 81.3 million worldwide, and it came away with 33.25 million in the US domestically. The #1 spot went to Birds of Prey, and they did debut in over like 4,000 theaters or something like that. You know what wasn't in 4,000 theaters, but also won 4 Oscars at the, okay, you know what, Let's take a break from that for now. Coming in the #2 spot is Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys for Life is the 3rd Bad Boys movie released since 1995, 99? I'm pretty sure it's 95. In second place with 12 million domestically. Worldwide, it has a total of 336 million, and I think that this is the highest grossing Bad Boys movie of all time. It's one of the good movies in January for a change. It's nice to see that it's still keeping pace and still keeping its legs up there. Now, a movie that dipped only like 5% from last weekend to this weekend is 1917. 1917 is, of course, a war epic directed by Sam Mendes, cinematography by Deakins, who, again, won another Oscar last night. Who also won another Oscar? Bong Joon-ho, and they won it for Best International Film. It won Best Original Screenplay, and again, it won Best Director and Best Picture, but, you know, who's counting? 1917 has accumulated about 290 million worldwide. It's had really good legs, really good word of mouth. It also won 3 Oscars last night for what it's worth. Coming in 4th place at the weekend box office is Dolittle. Dolittle, of course, starring Robert Downey Jr., the man formerly known as Iron Man. $6.5 million domestically, and it has a worldwide total of, hold on, let me check this, 160 million worldwide. Unfortunately, I think this movie was made with like 150 million or a $200 million budget, so yeah, not looking that good. Having said that, this is a movie that's also in its 4th week of release, so just wanted to give you an update, just in case you're a big fan of Dolittle and you haven't seen it. Let's be honest, you're probably not going to see it at this point. You know what movie you might not have seen, but you probably should see at this point? Parasite. You should definitely see Parasite. You're annoyed by me at this point, aren't you? You hate my guts right now in this video. Don't worry. You'll get over it. 5th place in the weekend box office goes to Jumanji: The Next Level, which, Jumanji: The Next Level, that's surprising that this movie is still in the box office conversation, and it's been like, what, a month and a half since it came out? The movie came out in December, and it still made $5.6 million domestically in the States this weekend. Worldwide, this thing is almost at $770 million, so it's not gonna make as much as the first one did, but it's still making DC money, still has good legs. For the record, I did like Jumanji. Call it the DC slut in me. You have to start with Birds of Prey. That's my biggest takeaway, is how disappointing the opening weekend box office was. Disappointing does not mean flop. There are a lot of people that think that this movie is a flop and a failure or whatever. I think it's way too early to say that it's a flop or a failure. It's underwhelming for sure, disappointing. I'm pretty sure studio projections and industry experts had this thing projected out to like, what, 45, 50 million or something domestically. Worldwide, I'm pretty sure the opening weekend estimates were over 100 million, and for it to come in at 81 million, definitely you could look at that as somewhat of a disappointment. There's a lot of different reasons for why the film didn't really work out at the weekend box office. Definitely you could look at the R rating. Maybe they cost themselves some young customers there. I think it's kind of funny that there's a report out that says that Birds of Prey is changing its title to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, which is kind of weird to me because I feel like they should have done this months ago if they were going to make a change. I can't actually confirm whether this is true or not, but I did see some screenshots from some people who have gone to the movies or have gone online and they've looked at the tickets, and it does show that the title of the movie has changed. I think it's kind of weird to do it at this point. I kind of feel like they should just leave the title the way it is. I don't know that it's going to change that much. It also does speak to kind of the marketing mishap that this movie went through, because I think they could have marketed this movie a little bit more strongly. More importantly, I think if they had marketed the fact that it was a hard R movie, and I think if they had leaned more into that, I think if the movie was titled Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn is the one they're showcasing, if you've seen the movie, you know that it's a Harley Quinn movie. So I don't know, I just feel like there was some marketing decisions that went awry here, and I think that definitely it's disappointing that the movie hasn't done better at the weekend box office, but who knows? I mean, the movie might have some good legs. It probably doesn't have a lot of stiff competition for the next month or so let's see what it gets. Maybe it'll still end up turning a profit. Now I'm gonna let you know about some upcoming releases for next week. I feel like this is important because it reminds people of certain releases that are coming out and keeps you informed and lets you know what movies you may or may not want to check out next week. So we have The Photograph coming out next week on Valentine's Day, starring Issa Rae and Lakeith Stanfield. Fantasy Island also comes out next week. I don't really know much about that one other than the fact that it does take place on an island. It's your wildest fantasies and it turns it into a nightmare or something. I'm pretty sure that's what the trailer was talking about. Downhill, which not a lot of people have heard about, and to be honest, I don't think this is a wide release. I think this is a limited release, but it's some kind of ski adventure disaster movie or something. Will Ferrell is in it, so if you're a Will Ferrell fan, definitely I feel like that should make you feel some type of way about it. And then obviously the big one is Sonic the Hedgehog, which comes out next weekend. Video game movie. I think it's directed by Tim Miller. I'm not entirely sure on that. I don't know. I think that's the one that I'm most curious about upcoming this weekend. The way that they changed the design. I mean, all y'all better go see this movie. You better go support it if you bitched about the design for Sonic. 2 limited release movies coming out next weekend. What About Love and After Midnight. After Midnight, I'm pretty sure that's some kind of thriller creature movie that also is a love story, so maybe you guys, if it's in your area or playing, you might want to check that out. But the 2 movies I'm looking forward to the most are The Photograph and Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm a big Issa Rae fan, I'm a big Lakeith Stanfield fan, and I like Sonic, so I'm gonna be checking those movies out definitely. Guys, let me know what movie you're most looking forward to this next weekend, and let me know what you thought about the weekend box office. Put your thoughts and give me your feels all in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel.
Also, go see Parasite if you haven't already. Go see